Hey my friends, I am so excited because garage sale season is finally here. Today I hit my first barn sale and I also went to an estate sale. The first one of the season, found some treasures. So I figured, you know what, I'm just gonna do a very easy, casual video to show you my haul. And then earlier this week, I hit the antique store and found some treasures too. So I figured I'll show you that stuff. I've already kind of placed that stuff. So I'm gonna show you that, kind of how I styled it, but then also show you the finds that I picked up this morning too, because I love this time of year. And tomorrow I'm actually hitting a flea market too. So hopefully I'll find some treasures and then show you those when I find those. But today I am gonna show you what I found at my first barn sale and estate sale of the season. I told you this was going to be a very casual video today. Some of the stuff I'm just keeping outside, so I don't want to haul it inside and then bring it back out. So these galvanized buckets I love to use throughout my garden. I love to pick them up at garage sales and estate sales. Now it's funny, I do have a video coming up next week where I show how I will galvanize newer ones. So if you can't find them or don't get to garage sales, how to make them look aged. But if you have a chance to go to garage sales and estate sales and vintage stores, you can find these. They were marked aged. She gave them to me for $5 and I will just drill some holes. And again, you'll see that coming up in a video next week. And I will link that video once it's live in this video description, so if you want to check that out too, you know, but if you watch this before, you're not going to see it. So that is coming up, and I love picking these up and using these throughout my yard for all of my plants because it just makes it look so nice. So I picked up 3 of them for $5 each, and I just love how worn and distressed they are. So this was one of the finds that I got at the barn sale. And then I also picked up, well, I got 2 birdhouses. This was one, it was $15. Now, I don't plan on using it as a birdhouse. I'm actually going to be using it more for decor. And I picked up this one, and then I got a white one too, but I think I put that in the garage, so I'll get that one out in a second. This was $15, but very well made, and I love tucking these in my gardens, on my porches, on, you know, little tables. They're just great for obviously birdhouses. Now, if you don't want little things flying in there, birds or animals or any kind of critters getting in there, just put a little mesh or like a little bit of a screen in there so they don't, you know, get in there. So you can definitely hide if you want to use it more decorative and not use it as a house. So I did pick up that. Isn't that cute too? I also picked up 2 of these baskets for $3 each, and I love using these for so many things, just even decorative or putting flowers in or just kind of tucking in a spot. You know, I love my baskets. I had to get this for my daughter Eden, since her name is Eden. She was with us, so she actually wants this for her room. But I would put it in the garden too. But Garden of Eden was only $3 and so perfect. But I grabbed 2. I was going to grab another one, but I couldn't get them apart. But I love finding these in like $3 each. I thought it was a good. You can also turn them over if they're sturdy enough. Sometimes, unlike some other barrels, these can wear out, but you can also use them for little tables too, or even to put plants on as well. I've been talking about that on some of the whiskey barrels that I've been using in my yard, which I'll show you since I'm outside. I've been talking about that in my stories over on Instagram and Facebook, but you can also use these for plants too. If they're sturdy enough, sometimes these get really kind of worn and weathered, but they make great little plant stands too. But I love just tucking them anywhere. If you love that vintage rustic look, you got to add these to your decor, because for $3 these, I thought this was a great find too. I shared this on Facebook and Instagram stories, these whiskey barrels that I got at Tractor Supply. Now I love using real old whiskey barrels, and in our fire pit we have them around our fire pit area. I'll link that video that I shared last year in the video description. I wanted to get more like that, but I picked these up instead. They're plastic, but they're really nice and they're really affordable too. At Tractor Supply they're $24.99. And then I just popped a hanging basket on top, and I just clipped off the holder, the hanger, and look at how pretty that is. So just giving you an idea for your gardens. Just take an old whiskey barrel, whether it's a plastic one like this, one that you find at a garage sale or an estate sale or a vintage shop, and tip it over. They're great to use for little tables around your porch and patio, but they're also great for flowers too. So I'm back inside because it's a little warm outside, although I'm not complaining because it's nice to finally have the warmer weather here. Wayne's at the pool, cleaning the pool, so it's so nice to be outside, doing all the flowers and working outside, cleaning the pool, all those things. But it's nice and cool in here. So I'm going to show you what I got today Then I'm also going to take you around and show you how I decorated with some of the finds that I picked up earlier this week. So at the estate sale, it was in this beautiful colonial home. It was gorgeous. I picked up this pewter bowl. Nothing special, but it was $3. So I picked this up too. I love tucking pewter in my home, and for $3, it was just a nice little estate sale find that I grabbed to have for $3. So that was one of my finds. And at this estate sale, there was some beautiful old primitive furniture, but I couldn't find a home for that piece that I showed you a few weeks ago, so I was like, I had to hold off. But definitely tempted on some of the pieces. I did pick up some doilies. I got all these for, I think they were $1 each. Just nice to kind of have these older doilies. So I picked up 4 of those for $1 each. And then I got this colander. This was $9, just an old colander that I also thought was pretty too. It's funny because my mom just gave me a similar one like this for Mother's Day. She had my Mother's Day gift in a colander just like this too. So I always love picking up those colanders as well. At that estate sale, I also picked up this blueberry wreath. It's on a grapevine wreath. I love the blueberries on it. So pretty, isn't it? It was only $7. So I snagged this up. I think I'm gonna hang this in my kitchen, maybe over the stove. I have a wreath there now, but I'm thinking maybe on one of the doors. I don't know. But I just thought that was really pretty too. I got lucky and found 2 quilts today, one at the estate sale and a cutter quilt at the barn sale, which wait till you see that one. So this was the quilt that I got. Can you see it? Because I can't, that I picked up at the estate sale. I love the primitive look to it. Don't you? This was only $16. But so pretty. I'm gonna wash it and put it in a basket in, I think in the living room. But isn't it pretty? Definitely got a little musty smell, so I'm gonna definitely wash it. But I thought it was a beautiful old, not old, but nice primitive looking quilt. So I picked that quilt up, but then I also got another one at the barn sale. At the barn sale, I picked up this cutter quilt. So this one was a little bit more, but I had to get it because I love the color on it. And then you could use this for crafting. You could finish it off. There's so many things that you could do with it. Isn't it a beautiful design? Oh, it was, I love this. So I had to get it, like it was a little bit more, I think it was like 30, 25 or 30. Look at that. That's the back. So you can see it's all pieced together. And I quilt, so I know the time and love that went into this. So I could even finish it off. Isn't that beautiful? Can you see? I can't tell if you can see when I hold it up. It's a nice size too. But even great for some craft projects. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I had to get this because I love the color on this. This definitely needs a washing too, but I was even thinking of folding it up and hanging it over a ladder and then not even bothering finishing it off, or maybe finishing it at some point, but just hanging it and draping it over a ladder is always a pretty look too. I also picked up at the barn sale this old sieve. It was $30, but when I see these at antique stores, they're often a lot more. I probably could have gotten it for 25, but I kind of bundled everything together. So some things were marked out, you know, and I had my whole pile at the end, we kind of just bundled it. But I love this. And it's funny because when I was at the antique store the other day, when I show you some of the antique finds I picked up, I was looking at these and I think they were like 50. So definitely a little bit of a savings picking this up at the barn sale, and you can hang these, tuck them anywhere. I just loved how old and rustic and worn it is, don't you? So this was another find at the barn sale. I picked up another birdhouse at that barn sale too, which I'm gonna show you in a minute because I got a barrel that I was gonna show it to you outside, but it was too warm on the porch. So I brought it in, I'll show it to you in a minute. Now I'm gonna show you some of the things that I picked up a few days ago antiquing. I figured since I was doing this quick haul, I might as well just knock all this out. Now I did style a few of the things already. These are the things that I haven't styled yet. So first up is this little topiary. Don't you love it? It looks like a little time topiary. It was $10. even comes in this cute little rustic pot. 10 bucks, you guys. I had to snag this, even to just pop right now on my hutch here. Oh, I love it right there too. I love the color of the greenery. I might do that when we're done, because I'm going to show you how I styled a few of the things that I have already picked up. Wait till you see the old stoneware jug I got. I love that. So that was only 10 bucks. And then I also picked up another basket. This beautiful basket was only $11. I think it was 15. Let me see. This might be the receipt. And then there was 20% off. Okay, it was 15 and then 20% off, so $12. Beautiful basket. Love it. I love the shape. I love the size. I haven't found a home for it yet, but I definitely will. I always find a home and a place for baskets. Like I always say, you can never have too many baskets. So I just love this one. So this was another find too. I think this is the last thing I have. I'll probably find something as soon as I'm done here, but then I'm going to show you a few of the other things I picked up and how I've kind of decorated with them. Not many things, but just to show you that too. But I picked up this old rustic shovel. It was $10, but this was so my style. I had to get it. I love the color. I love that just that aged weathered wood on there. The handle's a little broken, but those are the things that don't bother me. So it still has a little stringing on it, but just to, you know, lean up against somewhere. I love these for 10 bucks. That old weathered wood. Don't you love it? I didn't mind that. I could even, if I wanted to, I guess I could cut that off, right? And then it would look more intentional. I don't know. But just to kind of tuck somewhere. I will find a home for it. Don't know where I'm going to put it yet, but I had to pick this up too. I love that shovel. Even just right here tucked in the corner looks really pretty. So anyways, that I think is everything that I don't have a home for yet, or things that I literally just took out of the car. So now I'm going to just take you around really quick and show you a few other things that I picked up. Earlier this week, kind of how I styled them. A beautiful stoneware jug that I got. So let me tell you the story on this. So at this one antique store, they have these beautiful old stoneware jugs, but let me tell you, they are priced, they're expensive. The few that I love are like $350. So when I was talking to them, they were going to give them for me, give one to me for $250, which is still way out of my ballpark. I'm not going to spend $250 for a stoneware jug. Part of why I love doing what I do is the thrill of the hunt, and then also finding a great deal, because that is just so satisfying when you find something that you've been on the hunt for, and then you find it and you get such a steal on it too. But I was talking to her, and it was nice that she, and generous of her, that she was going to knock down the price. There was another one of these old vintage Crocs that I love. She was going to knock 20% off. So, and that one was a little bit more reasonable. I think I have some footage I'll show you here of these. I mean, they're beautiful, you guys. So, and I definitely was tempted, but way out of my ballpark, not what I'm going to spend. So I said, let me think about it. I'm going to go over to the other building and take a look. Go over to the other building and looking and just doing a quick little power antiquing. Eden was with me too. And so in that building, I find this beautiful stoneware jug, just very similar to the ones that I've been looking at, the ones that I've been kind of shopping for, but trying to find a really good deal on. And like I said, if you look these up online, on Etsy, on eBay, on all the places, they definitely go for several $100s. So as I'm in this antique store, I find this one for $90, which still is, you know, expensive. So I know that, but compared to $350 for a similar size one right next door at the other place, and just definitely was the vibe that I was looking for, the style I was looking for. Like, I grabbed this and was hugging it. It was like, I just felt like you know, you feel like you hit the jackpot, even though it was still, you know, if it was like $40, I'd be even more excited, but still to find it compared to what some of these go for. So I'm going to show you here in the dining room what it looks like. And I did get a little bit of a deal because I paid cash. They gave me 10% off. So I feel like I did get a little bit of a deal knocked down on that, but it's right there. And I absolutely love it. If you love that primitive stoneware jugs and Crocs, this one is just beautiful. And it goes, I mentioned in one of my recent videos too, that I'm collecting a new false craft pattern. It's the folk art pattern. I did get a few more pieces to add to my collection. And this new stoneware jug goes fabulous with it all. And I just love how it's just so cozy, that colonial primitive look that I'm really kind of incorporating into my decor. So I'm gonna show you that. A few other pieces that I got an old beautiful kettle over there too, which I got a deal on as well. So let me show you everything else. I'm also gonna show you that barrel that I got, and just another idea how I was showing you outside with the barrels, getting these old barrels too, if you find them at the vintage stores or barn sales or antique stores or flea markets or all the things, just simply turning them over too. So in using them as a stand, as a table, as a plant stand, I love turning those over. That's how I have them over at our fire pit. But then I put this birdhouse on top. Let me show you. It just looks really pretty in this birdhouse I also picked up at the barn sale. She had like several, but people were snatching them up really quick. So there was like, by the time I left, they were like almost gone. I grabbed the two like right away as soon as we walked in because they're really, really well made. And like I mentioned, I love decorating with those in my summer decor, not just as a birdhouse, but you know, tucking them in your gardens is such a pretty look too. Just add some mesh in there if you don't want any little critters in there. So anyways, you guys, let me flip the camera around. I'm going to show you everything else and show you how I styled it. I'm a lights on kind of girl, and it just makes the room feel so cozy, but I wanted to show you really quick. Here's that topiary again. I love it here on the hutch. This was so pretty. What a find for 10 bucks. So I think I'm going to keep that there. Now let me show you, well, actually let me show you next the other barrel that I got at the antique store, and another idea for decorating. I think I might be using that on my front porch, but it was way too warm. The sun was beaming on the front porch, but I might use it on the front porch with this really pretty birdhouse. So I found this barrel at the antique store the other day for $15. I love these barrels. Anytime I can find them for under $20, I usually grab them. I have a bunch of them. You can actually see one right there too, that I've had. They're great to just tuck anywhere in your home to give you a very rustic, vintage, colonial, primitive look. So you can use them this way, but another idea too is to even turn them around just like I was doing with the other barrels outside that I was showing you for the planter, and then using it as a table or to put anything. And these are a little bit more sturdier to even use as a little side table in your garden. So I love finding these. So when you're hitting the flea markets and the sales this summer, always be on the lookout for these because these make great little tables too. But I wanted to show you how this cute little birdhouse that I also picked up at that barn sale. Isn't it cute? It's funny because I grabbed the one and then I ran back and grabbed this one because I was like, I gotta get this one too. And let me show you, move the camera up. And look at how pretty that looks just on there too. Thinking of maybe using this on the front porch. That's why I was gonna show you. This one was $14. And you can even decorate with these inside too, in different vignettes. But I love, love, love these type of birdhouses tucked in a garden, like a really with the flowers, and then have this kind of tucked somewhere. Again, I always put a little something, mesh or something, just to control any critters getting in there, unless of course you want it to be intended for a birdhouse. But just like that, doesn't it look pretty on the barrel? I love the way that looked. I kind of just put that there like that when I was going to show you this on the front porch. I was like, I really kind of like that. So just another idea, but these were two of the other finds that I've picked up as well. I feel like I'm kind of teasing you with some of the things here that are actually coming up in the next video, like these scoops and like these beautiful wooden pieces. You'll see that in the next video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But I love this whole look right here. But what I really wanted to show you is this beautiful stoneware jug I found. Isn't it a beauty? Like, I've come in here, I got this just yesterday actually, and I've just come in here and just keep looking at it. Like I said, it was $90, which for what I sometimes see these as, says don't use handle. The handle is a little cracked, probably why it was 90, but you don't even see it in the crack, really. Isn't all that bad. I love this. If you do like a primitive colonial look, this is a big, beautiful old stoneware jug. These often run several $100s. The one that I was looking at the other shop was $350. So I knew this was pretty much a really good deal. So I'm glad I waited. So this was another find that I picked up, and I styled it here on my table here in the dining room, along with all of this that you'll see what I did to do this on Monday, along with even that. It's coming up on Monday too. And I showed you this in my last video. This is the newer pattern I'm collecting. Well, it's not new, but I started collecting recently. It's a folk art pattern by Falsgraph, and I love how it incorporates in my dining room. So I'm adding little pieces of it here and there throughout my dining room, and let me show you a few others. Over here on this table on my plate holder, I found some of the folk art mugs, and they were the mug and the plate for $2.50. So I grabbed 3 of them. They had 3 of them. They were $2.50 for the cup and saucer. I didn't take the little label off yet because I just got those and I wanted to show you. So I hung 3 of the mugs here, and then I also picked up the set of plates. They were actually $3 each, except I did get one for $1 because there was a little nick in it. And just tucking these, but I love using these even on plate holders for that little pop, but I love this pattern. And then I also picked up this beautiful kettle. She's a beauty, isn't she? I was gonna use it in my kitchen at first. I did check it on my stove, but I kind of like it here. It was originally $28 and that entire booth was 50% off. So I got it for $14. So I always love when that happens. I love just that very old pewter look. It's funny because I think it can open it, but there was like I think somebody was using it for like flowers or something because it was like some of that floral foam was inside of it. So I just tucked it here on my table, and I just love this entire look. Let me step back here too, because you'll see over here, this is, I showed you this recently. This was a newer find, and I never showed you even too in that last video, or one of the recent videos, where I ended up hanging that lantern. I know so many of you guys were loving that. I ended up hanging it here in the dining room, so you can see it from the kitchen. You can see it as you're walking into the dining room. I love that lantern so much. So that's where I ended up hanging it, and so I just love this whole look right here. It is just so cozy. I also have a basket here on this chair, and I have a few pieces, but I've shown you all of this before. You'll see again the scoop on Monday, which you see that. It's a little teaser. And then this is another piece of that Falsgraph folk art, but I've had that for a while too. So that was that. Okay guys, I think that is everything. Hopefully I will find some new treasures tomorrow when I hit the flea market. So stay tuned for that. And again, stay tuned for Monday's video, where I have some new ideas, including what I did here and these little scoops, and even that, as well as how I aged my galvanized buckets to make them look old and rusty. Okay guys, that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for coming along as I show you some of my treasures that I found at my first barn sale and estate sale of the season. I love this time of year. Like I mentioned, I'm going to a flea market tomorrow, so hopefully I'll find more treasures. I should have waited to show you everything all at once. Hopefully I'll find some stuff tomorrow too, but I'll save that for another video. But I love this time of year. Let me know if you do too, what you're on the hunt for, or if you started going to some garage sales and estate sales. What are some of the fun treasures you have found already? I would love to know. But I look forward to Friday and Saturday every week now, because it is just so fun kind of planning out where you're going and what are you gonna do, and grabbing a coffee and hitting the garage sales and estate sales and the flea markets. It is so much fun. So I hope you're having fun out there too. Let me know what you're finding. You can also follow me on social media at Mother Time. You can check out my blog, mothertime.com. And if you've enjoyed this video and you are not subscribed to my channel yet, don't forget to click that subscribe button so you never miss a video. Another video is coming up on Monday. I'm going to show you again how I age. I said, I think before, galvanize, how I age newer galvanized buckets. So if you find newer galvanized buckets, maybe thrifting or at the store, I'm going to show you how I make them look aged and rustic. And it's such a simple process. There's some fun other items and ideas coming up in that video too. So stay tuned for that too. So don't forget to click that subscribe button so you never miss any of these videos. Thanks again for hanging out with me here today, guys. And I will see you guys very soon in the next video. Bye guys.